No instrument of terrorism found on Nnamdi Kanu, DSS witness tells court. PW1 further disclosed that he did not find any instrument of violence on the lady with Nnamdi Kanu and did not consider her company as facilitating terrorism. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me in this video. Today is Friday, the second day of May 2025. I needed to wait to gather information about the court proceedings today. And right from time, a lot of people see me talking about the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Some persons see me that, oh, this guy is just trying to call for release of Nnamdi Kanu for nothing. No, it is not for nothing. It is because I personally know right from time that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any terror-related offense, talk less of treason. And today, it happens that everything we have been saying about Nnamdi Kanu is unfolding before our eyes. And I know at the end of this trial, people will now ask the federal government, why is it that you people charge this man with treason in the first place? Later, you people charge him with terrorism, when he did not even commit any terror-related case. Now, you need to follow me in this video step by step. I have to explain for you everything that happens in the court today. And at the end of this video, you will agree with me that there is nothing, when I mean nothing, absolutely nothing that will make Nnamdi Kanu not to be released this month. However, it is still important to note that the reason why Nnamdi Kanu's trial have delayed up to this point is because I believe federal government understood that if Nnamdi Kanu is being tried, that he will be discharged. Despite the Court of Appeal, still Nigerian court have discharged him before. The federal government went to Supreme Court. From Supreme Court, they are now in the Federal High Court. So, without wasting much of our time, let us go into this news from Channels Television. Let us unfold everything that transpired in court today. Now, as I said before, Channels Television published that no instrument of terrorism found on Nnamdi Kanu, according to what the DSS witness told court today. Now, let's follow this article step by step, because among the whole people that reported about what happened in the court today, Channels Television breaks down the details. And that is what I want you to know. Now, number one, let's start from the first paragraph of the article. It states that the court has granted the request of the federal government for witnesses to testify behind the screens, of which you know that court approved masked witnesses to testify. So we don't know the identity of these people, whether they are even from Britain. We don't know who is testifying. But what happened is what I'm going to explain to you. It reads that while the prosecution counsel is Adegboyega Awomondo, senior advocate of Nigeria, a former attorney general of the Federation, Kanu Agabi, led the defense team. That is the senior advocate that defended Nnamdi Kanu today. You need to stay with me in this video for you to understand that this Kanu Agabi, former Attorney General of the Federation, is not just a senior advocate of Nigeria for nothing. I will show you how he reprimanded the masked witness that came to court today, and how the witness now even exonerated Kanu from all this terrorism case. What do I know, sir? I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, but stay with me. Now, an operative of the Department of State Service, known simply as AAA, appeared as PW1, okay? That is the DSS personnel that came now to testify against Kanu, people that arrested him 2015. When AAA was asked, this is cross-examination now, when AAA, that is the DSS personnel, when he was asked if he was the officer conducting the interview in the video played in court, he said that 5 officers were in the room and that he was one of them. He said his role in the investigation was limited to arresting the defendant, that is Nnamdi Kanu, obtaining his statement and escorting him to Abuja for onward investigation. On the item presented in court, that is all those radio equipment, okay, his wristwatch, his phone, that is what they found with him that made them to charge him terrorism. Stay with me. On the items presented in court, AAA was asked if there was anything which on the face of it was offensive, and he said no. Follow me. The DSS told court that they did not see anything offensive on Nnamdi Kanu. When asked if he had analyzed any of the items recovered from him, He said he analyzed only his phone. Stay with me. He said the phone was in evidence, though there was no analysis in evidence because they consider it immaterial to the case. In other words, there is nothing incriminating that is important related to this case in his phone. When asked, do you agree that in the 10 years since you confiscated these items, many of them have lost their use? AAA said yes. Now, AAA was asked, when I mean AAA, remember that is the DSS chief, and someone that is questioning him now is Mr. Kanu Agabi, senior advocate of Nigeria and former attorney general of the Federation. So let's continue. AAA was asked whether there is a record of the items he claimed the DSS returned to the defendant. He said yes, but noted that he didn't personally keep the record. All right. PW1 further disclosed that he did not find any instrument of violence on the lady with Nnamdi Kanu and did not consider her complaint as facilitating terrorism. Okay, so the lady they said they caught with Nnamdi Kanu now has been exonerated. Let's continue. When Agabi asked the DSS witness whether he found any instrument of terrorism on the defendant, that is on Nnamdi Kanu, he said no. Case closed. So, we are going to continue with the article. Stay with me. Mr. Agabi, former Attorney General of the Federation, asked the DSS witness, do you see any instrument of terrorism on the defendant? He said no. So, why did you charge him of terrorism when you didn't see any instrument of terror around him? All right, let's continue. Replying to a question about whether AAA contacted anyone whom the defendant mentioned as working with him, he said the defendant didn't mention any name. So Nnamdi Kanu did not mention any name that this person is working with me or this person is working with me. Stay with me, oh, very interesting. Adding that he did not know whether other people were standing terrorism trial with Nnamdi Kanu in this case. Okay? Now, this is what he said. I put it to you that there is no other person in the whole of Nigeria who is standing terrorism trial for Biafra agitation except the defendant, Agabi told the PW1. You know what that means? If you claim Nnamdi Kanu have people who are terrorizing and the whole of Nigeria, there is nobody standing terrorism trial for being an IPOB. So does that make sense? No, it doesn't. That is to say your testimonies are false. Now let's continue. However, AAA said he knew some people stood trial with the defendant earlier, but don't know the state of those trial now. So the DSS person now witness is saying, oh, I think some persons were standing trial with Nnamdi Kanu, but we don't know how the trial went. He mentioned that he had read from social media and newspapers that the defendants had supporters like Simon Ekpa, who also carried on with the agitation. Social media. So you read from social media that Nnamdi Kanu have disciples who is doing what Nnamdi Kanu is doing. So social media is your evidence. Did Nnamdi Kanu tell you that he sent anybody to do anything crime? No. Now, let's continue. He also said he knew that the DSS was in the process of extraditing Simon Ekpa to Nigeria to face charges. When asked whether the defendant was charged with damaging anybody's property, that is Nnamdi Kanu, did he damage anybody's property? DSS answered, maybe not, personally and virtually. So you are not aware. First of all, you said you did not see Nnamdi Kanu with anything incriminating. You said Nnamdi Kanu did not damage anybody's property. This is interesting. Now, he said there were social media messages where defendant Nnamdi Kanu was inciting violence but did not know one person who carried out any act of violence because of the defendant incited him. Now, let me explain what that means. They claim that the broadcast Nnamdi Kanu did in London, that it incited people to carry out bad things, but they did not provide it. Who is that person that he incited to carry out that act? Did anybody come to tell you that Nnamdi Kanu sent him to do something bad? Absolutely no. Now let's continue. Nnamdi Kanu called Nigeria a zoo. This is where problem comes. Because it's not someone who carries someone to court that wins the case on a zoo. Can you imagine calling Nigeria a zoo? It's not a crime anywhere in the world. It's not a crime in Nigeria. But I want to let you know what transpired here. This is laughable. Now, stay with me. PW1 further said, though, he could not remember whether the defendant, that is Nnamdi Kanu, said there is corruption, youth unemployment, and lack of development in Nigeria. But remember that the defendant called Nigeria a zoo. These people who have told us that they don't have case against Nnamdi Kanu since now. This is bullshit. Now, let's continue. When asked whether he remembered that the defendant said IPOB was not an armed group and does not give armed training to its members, he said he remembered that the defendant saying IPOB does not bear arms. Now, you did not see him with arms, he did not destroy any property, and he said IPOB doesn't carry arms and is not an armed group. Hadn't been you see him with arms. And if you are talking, people will understand what you are talking. Now, let's continue. So interesting. Stay with me. This is what your data. Now, there have been killings in Kaduna, Zamfara, Benue, Plateau, and other parts of the north. Are those killings based on any agitation for separation? The Defense Counsel asked. This is where Agabi threw him up the line. You are claiming that Nnamdi Kanu is inciting violence that is inciting people to carry arms. You said you did not see him with arms. You said he has not destroyed any property. You said there is nobody following Nnamdi Kanu that is standing terrorism charge. But Agabi now asking, there is killing everywhere in Nigeria. Now, this killing that is everywhere in Nigeria, is it based on agitation for separation? Now, to the best of my knowledge, no, DSS answered. I think someone should give kudos to Agabi. You see, this is a very technical issues that we have been waiting for. Because these questions are the reason why we make video every day to tell Nigerians Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty about all these things. Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty. And all these things these people are doing is for nothing. All this bomb going on everywhere, is it Nnamdi Kanu that is doing it? If the witness identity could be unveiled, I will just go straight to where he came from, where he comes from, like the village. I will go and find out what is going on in his village to ask him that his parents that are not going to farm, is it Nnamdi Kanu that caused it? No going back. Now, let's continue. He further stated that Nigerians' highways are safe to a large extent. When the Defense Counsel asked, many Nigerians have been killed on their farms, in churches, in mosques, etc. Schools have been attacked and students kidnapped or killed. Trains have been attacked and passengers kidnapped and killed. These killings are not the product of any agitation for separation. Are they? That is the DSS witness said no. Agabi, you're tough. Oh. You're tough. Now let's continue. The case featuring terrorism and treasonable felony charge was originally instituted in 2015 following Kanu's arrest in Lagos. Major setbacks have held the case down for almost a decade, making it impossible for the prosecution to call witnesses and present exhibits until on Tuesday, that is the day they started this trial. The case started with 4 people initially charged as Kanu's co-defendants. However, in February 2018, the then trial judge Binta Nyako severed the trial, separating Kanu, who had fled Nigeria, from the other defendants, and of which I don't agree with Channel Television here, because Nnamdi Kanu did not flee, okay, according to the Supreme Court. The trial severance allowed the prosecution to continue proceedings against the 4 remaining co-defendants. The Nigerian government rearrested Kanu according to Channel Television, but I would say that the Nigerian government kidnapped Kanu in Kenya in June 2021. This is the end of the article. This is so interesting, man. So interesting. So if they tell you that the reason why they have been holding Nnamdi Kanu is because DSS will come to court to say Nnamdi Kanu called Nigeria a zoo. Is Nigeria not a zoo? A zoo is more coordinated than Nigeria. Nigeria is a jungle, it's a zoo. More mature zoo. How is that a crime? See, you can't go and study Sharia law and think you can come out and win anybody in a court. You can't go and have Sharia certificate and you think you can come and throw everybody offline. Buhari and his cohort who arrested Nnamdi Kanu, they thought that they could charge Nnamdi Kanu with all those Sharia court blasphemy. You said zoo, it's a blasphemy. Now the question is, Why don't they charge Nnamdi Kanu with when he said, in fact, let's leave all those kids. Nnamdi Kanu will be released. And Justice James Omotosho said the case will not pass next two proceedings. You know, they have set the date right from time. They set the date right from time, how everything is going to be. So he said he's not exceeding that date. So congratulations in advance to everyone who has been wishing Nnamdi Kanu well. Yes, I can beat my chest to tell you that at the end, no matter what happened, Nnamdi Kanu will be freed. Yes, he will be freed, he will be discharged, and he will continue what he is doing. This is matter of time. This is matter of patience. Just imagine 2015 to 2025. We are talking about 10 years. You have been trying one man that you caught with radio equipment. Shame. This is so shameful. Radio equipment. You caught someone with radio equipment. That is what you are bringing to court. You did not see this man with firearms. Fulani terrorists have been kidnapping everywhere. Their leader is free. Something dangerous is ahead of Nigeria. They leave the Fulani terrorists to be terrorizing. They leave the Boko Haram. They know their chief. They know people sponsoring them. Many people has been accused, like the former Zamfara governor, who is Tinubu's chief of defense staff. And Modu Sharif was accused of forming Boko Haram. He said it was Kassim Shettima, your vice president. Tinubu said if he fight them, they will kill him. Buhari promised to implement Sharia court and imported people into Nigeria. APC and CPC did that. So Tinubu is part of people who imported it. Okay, quote me anywhere. Senators have said this on the channel's television, on Arise News. They have said it time without number. There is a man that said it day before yesterday again, on Arise News again, about the importation of terrorists into Nigeria. That is a treasonable offense. Tinubu, Buhari and others committed treason. But you can't say it because you are afraid. They thought they could break Nnamdi Kanu. Their mission is not to try to jail him, but they want to break him for him to forget about Biafra agitation. That was just their mission. Let us stop this man from agitating. But mission impossible. The mission was impossible. It's not everybody you can intimidate to the end. And I promise you, at the end, the truth must prevail. Yeah, the truth must prevail. Anyway, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe, share this video, and always come back for daily updates. Above all, let me know what you think about this on the comment section. I will be right there to reply your messages. See you on my next video. Thank you.